Nah, tell me what do you see when you see me? Easy as not, I spirit stand disagreement. Henny on rocks is what I'm sipping with these greedy ass niggas on blocks. Hard to admit it, but I need it. See, it's all that I got. And you ain't meaning that you turning cold fast. At the cold cash never lasts. How I'm gon' crash. Eventually, everything that happens is meant to be. The ghetto mention me. Always make a face when they mention me. To see I'm stubborn and a nigga all at it. I don't want to see your wife, bitch. I got my palm read it. I will hustle for the things my mom needed. Learn to struggle with this hunger. This is how I'm gon' feed it. Long evenings never come. I've been having strong feelings on dealings going wrong. Wonder where it's all leading. All niggas get involved. Bet you'll be all bleeding. Fuck all that reading songs. We would rather call demons law. Won't you shine your light up on the devil? Cause life getting frightening and my balance is unlevel. Never night a new bottle and so my stomach never settles. And tasting reality got me fighting with your pedals. Use your life up in the ghetto. Sacrificing for your vices and your pedigree. Take the wrong advices, nigga might just catch a felony. Prices like the eyes of ISIS, finding pieces righteous, not divisive, but I'm psychic like in bison. I street fighting me. Staircase in hallways all day, yeah, I am my granite foyer, and I'm hella black with wrong with a trifella. Oh yeah, my vision is clear, nigga, and so is my conscience. When my OG is here, I kick it like I'm Jimmy John. Show you ride, Ray, tell no lies, baby. All my life been running unsupervised, yeah. Never die, we only gon' multiply. They say analyze the way that they televise. They hate, show you right. I see how they colonize, go inside. Your drama will coincide, and bodies is gon' collide. They throwing us on the side when murder conjoined with pride. No surprise, carry 4 and end up with 25. No surprise, you explode when holding no 45s. Age of 5, get exposed, and niggas out selling pies. Our homes are gentrified. Suppose I'm like T.I. Wait. I'ma need like 4 or 5 AKs. I just say, in this age, that shit change so quickly. I hope trades don't hit me. Know my patience give way, and I get so enraged that I end up encaged. I flip pages, hit major licks, baby. This age is just bathing. Press play, wrote essays about essays with drip shades and switchblades and flip pain. Comprende me, gente. They pitch cane on my block. They can't pay. You get popped, and them cops come gridlock. No entry, young sensei. I kick floors and get changed. My rent pay. I call hoes and get brains and pull rolls, kill membranes, get shit faced for 6 days, then call out with sick pay. Now bow heads and then pray. We throw bread, say which way? Nah, tell me what do you see when you see me? Easy as not. You saying that you here, but do you feel me? Don't tell me no lies. You don't tell me no lies. Nigga, don't tell me no lies. Nah. Nah, get up off me, all emotions are costly. Bought your mama 2 crosses for the day that you crossed me. Niggas lost me like I'm Jigga from Mars. Started strumming my pain and now I'm killing them softly. Bang on niggas that's faulty, do not involve me. Cause I form guerrilla armies from the X to Canarsie. How you stuck like palsy, put a bomb in your car seat. Prodigy, how we mob beat, hope you count every heartbeat. Niggas want it quick, gotta struggle to build fortune. I told them this a process here like Al Sharpton. Move with caution, money talks and very often bullshit run a marathon, shot the niggas and slouching. Hustle until I'm coughing, rose gold on a coffin. Cold coals when we mobbing, starving till we solving. Pouring dawn in the heat of the night and still flossing. Vice like I mixed Don Juan with Don Johnson. Magic like I got ordained for Slinger Johnson. Magic like I rocked all Gator and came stomping. Magic like I fucked on bitches from 7 continents on that NBA sponsorship, then paused when A's caught me.
You can't even say half that, so raise off me.
Oh, you got the full metal tap? That's fire.
Game to play halfback in a slave garment. I played calling. Pimp shit was raised on it. And everything I had, believe I paid for. Show you
that
right,
red
nigga.
button. It start recording.
Hit pause on that shit.
Alright, hello?
Live.
Live.
Everybody, live at
9. We are here.
Good evening, good morning. It's your boy, Michael.
It's Barry. And we have a special guest.
Special guest. We got a day here, too. He's coming.
He's here, you know, bright as hell. Reptile hoodie, fire.
Appreciate it.
We also have a special guest in the room, Lord Belize.
Hello, y'all. New York, what's going on?
What's
How y'all
going
doing
on,
this
man?
evening?
New York is in
Good.
there.
We're doing good. That was some fire.
I appreciate that,
was-
brother.
that was
I appreciate
fire.
that. Thank you.
Thanks for opening up the Live at 9 with such a dope track. You know what I'm saying? And that's off of your next project.
Yeah, that's off my upcoming project. It's called Crown Jewels and Precious Gems. I've been working on it for a little bit. It's about to come out the 16th of November.
Okay.
So I've been looking forward to that, and working on new music in the meantime.
As you should. So what's the inspiration behind this project? Give us the background on this.
All right. As I said, the title's named Crown Jewels and Precious Gems. So Crown Jewels being one thing, Precious Gems being the other. Not quite opposing forces, but on opposite ends of the spectrum.
Okay.
So the project itself speaks to the duality in me, and how the duality itself speaks to, the songs, the tracks, the tones, things that I've gone through in a period of time and everything. Those two opposing forces, so to speak, and their influence on myself, influence on my relationships, and influence on my music.
Got you. So who are you listening to right now, if you're listening to anybody?
I'm listening to everybody, my nigga. For real. First and foremost, I'm a music purist, so I'm listening to everybody. As far as albums we talking about for the year, I still got to put Nipsey at the top.
Okay.
You know
A
what
lot
I'm
of
saying?
people saying that.
I still have to
heard it.
Nah, Nipsey was.
I have to put him at the top. I personally was waiting for a Nipsey album
Okay.
for over 5 years. So Victory Lap was most certainly that. to
You
me.
think it lived up to the hype?
I definitely think it did, in the sense that it really wasn't hype as much as just actual work that was put in by that man. You know what I'm saying?
There's
This is somebody that dropped in the neighborhood of 8 to 10 projects before his first album.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So that being said, it's all about the maturity of learning who you are as a musician and keeping that directed focus forward. You know what I'm saying? Because especially in the climate where we're talking about that so many people are dropping every week. You know what I'm saying? Especially like QC is flooding right now, so them niggas is literally putting out at least 3 to 4 projects a month for the last couple months.
Mm-hmm.
You know
I
what I'm
want to
saying?
talk about that though, because to be honest, like at least with Migos, like I've never really been like the biggest fan. Like my favorite is Offset, but I feel like them going solo right now is a little bit like, I don't know. I would guess it was like premature, but I guess it is premature for me.
What you mean? How?
To me, they put out, what is it? This is the third album they put out was Culture 2, right? It's the third album.
No,
That wasn't.
it's they put out wild projects.
Nah, I know
over
they
the
put out,
last
but I'm
5
talking about their
Album-wise,
mainstream
yeah.
albums. I think that's their third project, and to me,
Yeah.
Culture, the first Culture was fire. This one that they put out wasn't popping to me. And then they going solo. I heard Quavo's album once, and I was good on it. Takeoff album, I never planned on hearing it. I'm really just waiting for Offset joint. So it's like, we're going to see who's the star after this, I feel like.
The star is Quavo.
Obviously.
That was
So did you like
Yeah.
Quavo's album?
No, I thought that shit was trash.
But we all
That's
know
what
the
I'm
star
saying.
is
So
Quavo.
after,
It was
but
trash.
Offset been killing
You know what I'm
everything
saying?
all year.
However, Quavo has been my nigga for years. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to, But at the same time, like, you got to understand something, bro. Like, in this day and age where people was consuming music every week, like, to the point where what came out last week is forgotten about next week.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? I wasn't expecting it to be something crazy. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't expecting that.
You think he just put it out to keep his momentum going?
I think that they're putting it out to collect the bag. I think that they're putting
Oh,
it out to
absolutely.
collect that shit did 99,000
Oh, shit.
first week. So
Quavo?
understand the numbers that's coming in.
Okay.
Understand the numbers that's coming in. You know what I'm saying? This is a business first,
Mm-hmm.
and these people are business minded. Look at their what they're
whole
talking
lineup.
about in their raps. They're talking about getting bags before they talking about getting anything. They ain't talking about being in the Hall of Fame. They're not talking about being top 5 dead or alive. These niggas is talking about getting bread, taking care of their families, and flexing in that order.
I mean,
So
I respect the grind, but it's just the way that I look at it now, and like the way that I always view people's first project. Like your debut album, if you're in a group or not, should be fire.
I
So,
respect it, and I
it's-
feel the same way.
I'm like,
I
I
feel the
heard
same
that
way.
album, I was like, this is what everybody was waiting for. Like,
You gotta understand though, we living in a different climate. Like the rap that you grew up on, my brother, isn't the rap that is living. Like we're in a very large ecosystem right now, just because everybody isn't equating rap to what rap used to be equated to before. You dig what I'm saying? So it's gonna be a whole lot of different structured habitats within this main thing because ain't nobody letting nobody branch out. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter what type of music a black person makes. It's still gonna be considered urban. It's still gonna be considered rap. You know what I'm saying? So you got actual rap artists that are coming out not rapping at all, and they're not following any of the rules as far as what rap is supposed to be. However, the people who are in charge of these businesses, the record companies and things of that nature, aren't giving them the leeway to accept them into different other genres. You feel what I'm saying? Because of the pigment of their skin, they're keeping them within the rap realm, and that right there is getting on the nerves of the people who have been living in rap for so long because they don't sound, it's not rap to them. You feel what I'm saying? But it's being forced to be called rap. So now it's a divide between people who are making new rap versus people who have been making rap and have grown up on hip hop. So now it's a divide where people don't understand each other and niggas are saying that, oh, one's mumble rap, one's trash. You know what I'm saying? It's not indicative of the golden years, which was the 2000s, 90s and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? So once you structure the playing field that way where everybody is playing ball but niggas ain't playing basketball, football, and soccer. Everybody doing that shit on the same field, but they still calling it the same sport. You know what I'm saying? That's where all the disconnects is gonna come into. You feel me? I'm not gonna expect a Nas verse from somebody like Quavo. I'm not expecting an album that Jay would put out from the Migos. You feel what I'm saying? I'm not even expecting an album like what Joyner Lucas would put out from the Migos. You know what I'm saying? It's a very different playing field, and it's a very diverse collective of what's going on now. And I feel like it's something for everybody. So as long as you know what you're getting into when you listen to somebody's tape or somebody's project and shit, you're gonna find something that can cater to what it is your prerogative is.
So how would you round out your top 5 albums of the year at the Nipsey?
Okay. I have been listening to. After that, I would say, this year.
Because I remember the last time I saw you were saying that J. Cole's album wasn't all that, and I kind of was like, what? You know?
Nah, I said, for real, like, it was, for me, KOD was, for me, I actually went back and took another listen to it. It's a solid album, but I'm not, it doesn't personally speak to me some of the ways that his earlier mixtapes did. You feel what I'm saying? Like, that's always going to be my number one critique on him. The fact that I feel like he put out 3 classic mixtapes in succession, and then when he started putting albums out, they really didn't hit as hard. I feel like he knew how to make those projects, but once he stepped into a higher echelon and an upper tier, he didn't necessarily know how to make those other projects, and now he's just getting his firm footing in a way that he didn't before. Because when he put out Sideline Story, that was like a mixed bag. Born Sinner had the potential to be something serious, but some of the best tracks that could have gone on Born Sinner, he put on Yours Truly too, which I didn't understand.
That
and
Chris
then
Tucker and,
exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Lofted,
yes. You know what I'm saying? So that being said, when he went to 2014 Forest Hills Drive, I felt like that's when he was, when he was really putting his trap down and shit. And for your eyes only, for me, it was forgettable in the sense that I got everything I needed to get from that from the last track.
Exactly. I agree with you on that.
I got everything I needed to get from that. And KOD, after I went back and gave it another listen, it is a very solid project and everything. It just wasn't hitting me. I had to live with it. You know what I'm saying?
Does it make your top 5?
It doesn't, because I don't listen to it often enough.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So this is what I'm gonna say for this year. And even on a different, I would say I rate this album as high as I would rate Nipsey Hussle's album, Astroworld.
Really?
Does it for me.
Wow.
Does it for me.
Oh, wow.
Because Astroworld
Point
does
one
it
for the young nigga.
Astroworld does it for me because in Astroworld shows Travis's maturity when it comes to his sound. Like, he's a master of his sound at this point, of the music that he makes. You feel what I'm saying? Like, he can get on anybody else's track and it's gonna sound like a Travis Scott track.
That's a fact.
Just because he's mastered his sound so much. So I feel like Astroworld was definitely him doing that.
I feel like Astroworld was definitely a great album, but to me, as far as his body of work, I love Birds in the Trap.
I feel you. I did too.
Like, that album, like, it was, I could tell that wasn't even fully, like, that wasn't Travis. Like, this Astroworld is fully Travis Scott all the way, but I feel like Birds in the Trap was like, he could have ventured off and been somebody else, like, after that album. Like, he could have just went straight, like, like some of them R&B songs was straight hit.
Astroworld?
Not from Birds in the Trap. Like Birds in the Trap and Astroworld, two different completely albums. Like they said that Astroworld was supposed to
as
be
they
before.
should be.
Astroworld was supposed to be before
As they
Birds
should
in the
be.
Trap. So it kind of makes me wonder where is he going to go next after Astroworld. You feel me?
And I feel like the fact that you have to ask that question means that he's doing exactly what he needs
exactly.
to do.
I was just thinking
You know what I'm
exactly, yo.
That he's directly
He set
doing what
the
he's
tier
supposed
up
to be doing.
for. I feel like for album wise, like he just broke it into a whole nother mode. Like he literally had. Like I thought Drake was gonna have the album of the summer just because
I did not.
I didn't.
I thought he was. After I heard it, I was like,
He had too much going on.
It was definitely
too
better
much.
than Kanye's to me.
Yeah, too much. Kanye's bro.
That Ye album to me was trash.
Yo, Ye's last couple albums been trash. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, I was like this Travis, like Astroworld, like I know that like people was complaining about the sales that they got. I was like, yo, like even when like Nicki Minaj came out the next week and she came in number 2, I was like literally, like Astroworld album is fire. Like it doesn't matter what he did. To
it has replay value.
Yeah, it's like I'll play that shit all.
It has replay value.
It is
Serious replay
and he
value.
changed the mode, like sicko mode, and like sicko mode wasn't my favorite song on it, just to keep it a buck. But I like how he had like 3 different songs in one song.
Yeah. Transition
So
and all that.
it definitely, I definitely agree with you with the actual world. What about Daytona? Where's that on your list?
I'm gonna be real. I didn't count the 7-track albums as albums.
I agree with you on that.
So there's no way for those to possibly be
If it
on
could,
my list.
if it could, where would it rank?
Let me answer that question by giving you a couple more joints. I'll put those in like an honorable mention category. J-Rock Redemption.
Oh, fire.
That was a very good one for me.
That freestyle with him and Kendrick.
Yeah, absolutely. After that, I would have to say Carter 5. I'm sorry,
Fire.
Carter 5. Just because the way that Wayne bounced back sounded after that time off,
Don't get me
I
started.
respect it.
Don't
The way
get
that he
me
bounced back.
started.
I feel like that. I feel like that was his most focused project in a long time. You know, it was a focus there that I hadn't seen for him for years. I've been a Wayne fan since, I was a teenager. I'm talking about prefix and suffix type of days before dedication.
Mhm.
So it's a certain type of Wayne that I came up on, and after Carter 3, he wasn't that person no more. So I really was not listening to him like the way I used to. You know what I'm saying? But when he came back with Carter 5, that's indicative and reminiscent of some shit that I would hear from him back when I was riding in my car committing crimes to his music.
So sidebar,
shit.
right? Because we talked about Pusha T, and he's saying how he feels like he didn't say Lil Wayne per se, but he's saying having more than 20 songs on the album cheats. And you see how Wayne and Drake, they had more than 20 songs on their album, so it kind of cheats the sound system. But I'm like, as a fan, if your favorite artist is giving you 20 songs and your favorite artist is giving you 7, it's like, how are you even to like make that kind of judgment call? You feel what I'm saying?
I mean, that's a simple math simple math problem in the sense that if it's pros and cons to each. If we're gonna pack the album, let's say I put on an album is gonna be 22 tracks. You feel me? In order for my how when it comes to the question of how my album is gonna be graded, now we're gonna have to start talking things like fractions and shit. So now you're looking for at least 18 out of 22 to be fire in order to give me a high rating. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to somebody who puts out 7 tracks, that's a much sharper curve in the sense that if you give me a 7-track album and 3 tracks aren't fire, that makes the whole joint mediocre. You feel what I'm saying? Because now I don't have enough to work with, and I don't have enough to listen to, and I don't have enough that's really going to resonate with me. How am I going to live with it? How is it going to stand up in when it comes to replay value or over time? How is
That's
it
how I
going to
felt
hit?
about the Ye album.
You know what I'm
I was
saying?
like,
how is it going to hit? But at the same time, look at Migos, what they did with Culture 2. They could have literally chopped that album in half, and it would have been a
That
good
is a
album.
whole fact.
And it would have been a good album versus a mediocre album by keeping all them joints on there. Because there was a lot of filler on there, and there was a lot of throwaway tracks on there. You know what I'm saying?
even though Walk It Like I Talk It
All
was
about
big, I
balance.
did not like that shit.
It's all about balance. You
And
know
I
what
was
I'm saying?
like,
It was a
yeah.
radio song.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
radio
anything with
song.
Drake
Yeah.
on it is gonna go on
It's
the
a radio
radio.
song. That's
But
absolute
I
fact.
feel like if you know your shit gonna go on, if you know you're gonna radio regardless, you should make it fire. Like
It was fire to some people,
But
it just
exactly,
wasn't for you.
you can't say that it wasn't fire in the sense that a lot of people like that
If
song.
that song comes on in the club right now, you ain't dancing.
in the club, yeah, I'm a dancer anything.
And that's
in the
why they
club.
made it.
And that's exactly why.
Like,
But it's because
and
they
that's
played
the-
it. So I remember with my first original listen, I was like, "Damn, this song is not as good as I thought it was gonna be." It's Migos, it's Drake. it's not Versace. That shit was fire.
Well, I can use that same argument. I can use that same argument that you're making against Walk It Like You Talk It versus Versace, and tell you that that's why a lot of people are always gonna feel like Kendrick is better than Drake.
What do you mean?
In the sense that we're talking atmospheric sound versus substantial sound.
Okay.
You feel what I'm saying? We're talking about somebody who has mastered atmospheric music, which doesn't necessarily have the substance that Kendrick shit has, but at the same time, because it's so atmospheric, it's so commercial, so Kendrick is not going to be in a position where he consistently outsells him. However, he's going to make music that is going to be considered more impactful.
Yeah, that's a
You
fact.
understand what I'm saying? So that being said, it's all about balance and being able to, dot those I's and cross those T's in the way that you would need to in order to be who it is that you say you are.
So now, so you got J Rock, you got Astro World, you got Nipsey Hussle,
Got Wayne.
you got Wayne.
I got Wayne.
As you should.
And I'll honestly throw that 5th spot up since we in November. You
To
know
you?
what I'm saying? Honestly, bro, I feel like my project is an Uptown classic.
Okay.
I feel like my project is an Uptown classic, and I feel like I've been living with my project for a year.
Okay.
Ain't nobody else heard that shit. I've been walking around with it for a year, so I feel like my shit is top to me, as it should be.
As it
You
should.
know what I'm saying? I don't feel like there's a nigga out here in the game that can out rap me. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel as though I know my subject matter is true to me. I know that shit is true to life, and I know that shit is true to my niggas. I know that shit is true to my city. So those are the type of priorities that I want. That I want to live, and that's the type of person I'm trying to be. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to how it is I approach rap, how it is I approach my music, it really isn't to get bread. I get bread outside of music.
Mm-hmm.
You feel what I'm saying? I'm my sole principal investor. You know what I'm saying? That means that I spent my own money to record. I spent my own money to master. I spent my own money to mix. I don't got no features on my shit. Ain't nobody else write my rhymes. I spent 10 racks and put it into my own album while paying my rent, while fucking bitches that I fuck. You understand what I'm saying? Spending money on them, spending money on me, keeping sneakers on my feet. You see what type of kicks we deal with. You know what I'm saying? So it's an expensive life living in New York, and I'm able to live my life comfortably as I would like to while funding my music without having to take a handout or without having to sign my name someplace and be beholden to somebody. So being able to make a project that sounds the way that I sound under those conditions, I feel like I did more than what it is I set out to do. And that's why I have such a high regard and high opinion for my shit.
And that's the best feeling when you could actually say and own everything that you just said. Like you did everything by yourself, and it's a good feeling. You walking around the city like you doing everything yourself. And nobody that did shit for you. You doing it for yourself.
Absolutely, I proved a lot to myself that I could sit down and commit to some shit. You know what I'm saying? That required me to without necessarily seeing where it was going to take me after when I got to the end. It was all so very much about the process, and because it was so very much about the process, you know what I'm saying, and it also taught me, because I don't have the type of financial backing that some individuals have, it also taught me certain things that go hand in hand with what we were talking about as far as quality of the music coming out now. Things like A&Ring, things like artist development, things like keeping your overhead, you know what I'm saying, in order. Things like executive production of a project. These are the types of things that, because music is coming out so fast and, you getting money hand over fist, and, you so hot when it comes to the social media or when it comes to what the buzz off of the streaming numbers is, that those aren't necessarily types of things that's going to be taken into consideration when you sitting down and putting a project out. You know what I'm saying? You know that you hot. So, you know what I'm saying? You could put out a blank CD and niggas would bump it. You know what I'm saying? So you literally throwing things at the wall knowing that something's going to stick when you do. You know what I mean? So me having to do what I had to do the way that I had to do it really taught me how to really go after those things and keep quality first. You know what I'm saying? Ironically, quality control, but you know what I'm saying? To keep my quality first and do quality assurance when it comes to my shit. You know what I'm saying? Tracks that I really wanted to be on the project that aren't on the project just because they didn't match the tone or they didn't match the overall sound. You know what I'm saying? Things like that, having to cut things off the project that, tracks that I love, you know what I'm saying? Just so things like sequencing one track going into the next track, you know what I'm saying, will keep somebody engaged and will have somebody sit all the way through versus stopping at track 6. You know what I'm saying? Those are the types of things that I had to take to the head, because like I said, I'm a type of person who's doing this on my own. So the shot that I get, first impressions make a hell of a first impression. You know what I'm saying? I don't have the liberty to be out here just dropping shit knowing that somebody gonna rock with something when nobody know who the fuck I am. You know what I'm saying? It's about jumping in the pool and making a splash. You dig what I'm saying? And the only way that you're gonna do that shit is if you have everything in order and you know what you're doing. You have order, you know, to the chaos. So that's more so what I'm thinking about and how it is I approach my music and why it is, you know, I'm about to release this on Friday, but I already am well into the next project. You know what I'm saying?
So, what other stuff can people expect from this project? Like, as far as like, is it more storytelling, or is it just? Are you trying to just bar people up? What are you trying? Like, what's your goal?
I've always been a lyrical rapper. I've tried to find a balance between being lyrical the way that I like to be lyrical without you know making it sound like a fucking science science lecture and everything. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to lose nobody in the source when it comes to me just putting words together that rhyme. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to put so many words together that rhyme that you lose meaning overall on what it is that I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about me trying to hit those balances. What it is I'm talking about things that I relate to, my life, coming up in the city, living in the city, the things I have to deal with being black, the things I have to deal with being a fake American, if you want to call it, the things that I have to deal with, you know, dealing with hoes out here, the things that I have to deal with, you know, just being me, you know what I'm saying? And the people that come, you know, that came up around me and the people that I be around, you know what I'm saying? That's why I made sure that when I was doing my cover art that I put a mural of this whole process. You know what I'm saying? I made a mural of everything that it is that I was doing and pictures that was taken throughout the time of the inception of the project, the conception of the project, and to the reception of the project. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about those types of things, everything that I've been through within this 2.5 year period, that in how it is I got there. So that's what the project is, I say, to answer that question.
So your name is Lord Belize. Like, is it like, do you have any like connection with that, or like what made you get that name?
My father is from the Honduras. My grandmother is from the Honduras. She's a Mayan Indian. My grandfather actually came from Belize and met my grandmother in the Honduras. And that's the whole story about how my father came to be. Now, I've never been to Belize and everything, and I've never met my grandfather. So when it came time to thinking about who it is that I am, and versus where it is I'm trying to get back to who I am ancestrally and learn who it is from the inside out. You know what I'm saying? So that really spoke to me, and the whole Lord thing comes from just coming up on hip hop in the city. I always fucked with how certain cats always did Lord before they name Lord Finesse, Lord Tariq. You know what I'm saying? Things of that nature.
Fact.
And because I'm making music in the X and I'm up in the Bronx, you know what I'm saying? That spoke to me on that wave.
Does that have anything to do with like the necklace that you like the
Oh nah, my necklaces is completely separate. My necklaces are a visual representation of my life's purpose to master my body and mind.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That's music is one area how I challenge myself mentally and spiritually, I would say. You know what I'm saying? But it's just one facet into it. The necklaces themselves are, you know, they take different stages and this type of different things you have to learn and the types of different sacrifices that you have to make in order to get to from one stage to the next. I've been wearing necklaces on my neck, I want to say, for at this point about 14 years.
Damn.
Every day.
He been had the sauce since he was
Every
a kid.
Yeah.
Now, since I met him, he definitely always had some kind of necklace like that was like a representation that, you know, that like he mean business.
That's what's up.
I was actually just talking to somebody. I was at Harlem the other day. Shout out my cousin, and they was asking about who the guest was. I was like, yo, I remember like this is probably the most gangster thing I ever seen. Anybody that's been in any like in the hood that knows that the chicken spot bathroom is not for everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Please explain that for those who don't understand what you're talking about.
So like, I just remember one night like, we was out just partying, or I forgot what was going on, but I know Lord Belize got in that chicken spot bathroom. Like, you remember that?
Oh yeah.
I think it was
Yeah.
Boogie's party or something like that. Like he
They
told
wasn't trying to let nobody. They wasn't trying to let us into the bathroom or something like that.
and I didn't think that they were supposed to. But
Yeah,
like,
so I ended up having to talk to someone. And, you know what I'm saying? We was able to work that out and everything. I thought you was gonna tell a different story.
nah, there's
I'm
plenty
not
of
gonna lie.
stories that I
Yeah,
could have
I
told,
thought-
but just
I thought you was
anybody
gonna
that
tell a
knows
different
about the chicken spot, you
Right.
cannot like you know like everybody knows you can't use their bathroom. They're not even trying to like.
Yeah.
He's the one person out there.
I thought you was gonna tell a story when we was at the when we was in the dollar pizza spot, and I blacked on the Indian homies making the pizza.
I don't think I was there that night.
I want to say
But
you was.
I've
wanna say
been
you
there
was.
plenty of times when you had to
Bro,
let somebody
I
know.
want to say, I wanna say you was.
Like what it was going to be. You know what I'm saying? Well, like, do you want to tell that story about the?
You know,
Because people in the dollar pizza spot, they think they run it. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, like
I'm not a confrontational person. However, I carry myself with a high level of respect. I give respect, and I don't tolerate disrespect. You know what I'm saying? You can't dictate how somebody's gonna treat you. You can only dictate your response.
That's a fact.
So, that being said, me and a couple of my homies, we had just finished playing football. We had a football league, and we went there afterwards, you know, just to get some food and things of that nature. So I step into the dollar pizza spot. As for mentioned, it's a dollar pizza spot, so people pay dollars for pizza and everything. So I came in there with at least 8 individuals, and everybody was buying pizza. I say that to say this. I was one of the last people on the line because I was on the phone having a conversation with a woman. And when it came time for me to order my pizza, I went to the side, I got something to drink, and then I asked for 2 slices, and I only had a $20 bill. Now, I'm on the phone, and I guess he was telling me that he didn't have change for a 20 and everything. And he must have told me twice, and I guess I didn't hear him. You know what I'm saying? So he yelled at me. And he basically screamed on me, like, I don't have, you know what I'm saying? Really, really going in, and then I had to tell my ex-girlfriend at the time to hold on and everything. Because,
baby.
I had to tell him to hold on because my attention was being directed elsewhere at that point. You know what I'm saying? At which point at which point I told him to say it again because I didn't hear it the first time. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that you're running the dollar pizza business where everybody is paying dollars for pizza, I find it very hard to believe that you don't have change for a 20. As a matter of fact, I came in here with 8 people. That's not including myself. And everybody's spending at least $3 or more. So you do the math, nigga. So you do the math. You have change for a 20, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Don't play me like you don't have change for a 20 or like I don't know how many dollars it takes to get to a $20 bill, motherfucker. So by you thinking that you was gonna yell at me, you know what I'm saying, in front of my niggas while I was on the phone with my girl and things was just gonna, just gonna rock that way, it wasn't gonna happen. So at that point I told him I would slap the shit out of him and the nigga he was standing next to. You know what I'm saying? And I refused to spend any money there. I told all the homies, listen, if you wanna spend money here, that's y'all grown men, that's your prerogative. But I put my Snapple back. You know what I'm saying? I gave him the slices. Like, I won't ever be spending money in this establishment because not for nothing, y'all are people of color just like I'm people of color. Right. And I know if I was a white person and I was on the phone with somebody and you were saying something to me 2 times, I know you wouldn't yell at that person the 3rd time. You're yelling at us because we're young and we're black, and because you feel as though our money, even though you want it, you know what I'm saying, you don't respect the value of the dollar that comes from the black community. You feel what I'm saying? If we're being quite honest, you don't like me.
But does it bug you out how people, like you said, of color, just because they're not black, but they all hate black people as much as white people, but they don't treat people that are white the same way that they treat them?
It's because they see us as domesticated pets. You feel what I'm saying? Like, they know the history. They know that we were slaves at one time. They know that we are slaves and to a degree now. And they know that we've been marginalized, demonized, and bastardized. You know what I'm saying? So if the people who are in charge of us, i.e. the white people, if we not getting our respect from them, they feel as though they can defer respect from us. You know what I'm saying? They either are afraid of us, they either are ignorant of us, or they are indifferent to us. You know what I'm saying?
All the above.
Yeah, and for those reasons, they defer and give reverence to whites because they know that that's where the power comes from. And they would like some power for themselves. So in order to get to some power, they would have to get familiar with those who have it. You feel what I'm saying? And the fact that we have lost power, we have lost our identities, and we're out here, trying to put ourselves back together, one piece at a time before each of us are incarcerated or killed. You know what I mean? It makes it that much easier for them to sidestep us.
Do you think a black man will ever be free in America?
To be honest with you, I don't think anybody will ever be free in America. Just because you got to understand something. These terms that we use, we don't fully understand the dichotomy of everything that's being said. For example, freedom is an absolute value, bro. If me and you are free, there's no way that I could be more free than you. Because if that was the case, one of us wouldn't be. You know what I'm saying? So as long as we're in a structure, in a system where we can be incarcerated or killed for not giving money to those that we don't know for our work, whether it be in the form of taxes, without representation or with representation. I personally don't believe in commercialized and established government. I think that that's a mathematical equation that decays exponentially over time. And I would dare anybody to give me a counterproof to it. Show me how it can give me exponential growth over time, and I might just change my tune. However, nobody's been able to do that, and that was a proof that I wrote at 16. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still waiting on the word on that. You know what I'm saying? And to get back to the question that you asked, because we're in a system where we have responsibilities to the state, we have obligations to the state, and we have obligations to what it is called civility of the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? In order to keep those who are wealthy, while they're lying to us, while they're not giving us information, while they're keeping us in the dark, while they're keeping us below the poverty line, while they're making sure that we don't establish, acquire, or propagate generational wealth that they've had access to for over 100 years or better. I'm not hearing it. I'm not for it. You know what I'm saying? So I feel as though in a system like that, that's built on government juxtaposed against capitalism, where in order for you to have $3, that means that these three brothers right here can't have $1. Understand that system is put in place to keep people impoverished. The American dream that we all were broadcast, where we all get a certain amount of bread, in order for us to get that bread, I guarantee you, people have to be poor tenfold.
That's a fact.
Every millionaire ensures 100 people won't have money, if not more than that. It's more so like 1,000. I was being generous on that. You know what I'm saying? So for us to enjoy lavish things, it's people who have to enjoy poverty for that. So there's no freedom in that.
But to play devil's advocate, like,
damn, DJ Envy, can we ask questions too?
I mean, go ahead.
No, I'm gonna say go ahead.
Nah, I mean, I had only thing I wanted to ask to play devil's advocate pretty much is like, would it be fair to say that those people that earn their money, like, and other people just didn't put themselves like out there as much? Like, let's say if I made $1 million, right, and I'm like, yo, let's all make $1 million, and then I'm the one that makes the $1 million, am I responsible for y'all not making it?
I would have to respond to that in this way. I would have to ask you, number one, what do you equate? What is it that making money, equates for you? Like, do you feel that making money gives you value? Do you feel like making money fulfills you? Do you feel like making money or making $1 million, if we're all sitting at the same table and the challenge is, who can make $1 million? You know what I'm saying? And what is it that you're willing to do for that $1 million? These are all questions, you know what I'm saying, that are actually apparent, that aren't spoken about in a blanket statement like the one you just made. You know what I'm saying? And one of those big ones are, what is it that you're prepared to do? Is you prepared to sell your brother out for $1 million? Is you prepared to disregard your family for $1 million? Are you prepared to sell your soul, sell your body? Because it's men out here doing that.
That's a whole.
You know what I'm saying? It's men selling it's men selling their dreams. It's men selling their families. It's men selling their desires. It's men selling their ambition. It's men selling their body for it. And it's a lot of ways. It's a lot of ways to make bread. However, I gotta ask you at the end of the day, like, how rich is making bread, man? My business isn't currency. I believe dollar bills and things like that are false currency. I believe true currency is what we're doing right now, exchanging ideas, and us being changed by the ideas that we exchange. You feel what I'm saying? My cousin once told me that when I was younger, that the purpose of a conversation, any conversation, no matter what the topic is, the purpose of a conversation, that when the conversation is over, that you have more understanding that you did before the conversation was over. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. So that's the type of currency and that's the type of worth that I'm over here talking about. And that's through the exchange of ideas, through the exchange of doctrines, through the exchange of, strengths and ambitions and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Those are the things that's going to get you rich. And those are the things that's going to put you in position to get that $1 million, nigga. You feel what I'm saying? Just, wanting to have a desire for money. I know where that came from because I came up in America, and bigger than that, I came up in a world where I was shown the same commercials you were shown about the 39 cents that was gonna help some little girl in South America. You know what I'm saying? I saw the same shit, so I saw how having money could reverse those types of situations, and depending on how destitute your situation was, it would definitely be correlative to how much bread you felt you needed in order to get yourself about that situation. So I get it, but at the same time, like I said, understand that everything comes with a price, and you should have learned that from capitalism too. So like I said, maybe the reason why those other 3 brothers couldn't get that $1 million is because you got that $1 million, and because in order to get millions of dollars means that we can't get ours. Because that's what capitalism is. It ensures that those have to go without so you can have. Do you need $1 million, nigga?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Do you
need $1 million?
Nobody needs
$1 million. What you gonna do with $1 million?
But for me, the only reason why I feel like I need $1 million is because I know so many people before me got it. So it's like, I know it's possible. And it's like growing up and you see Bill Gates has like $43 billion. It's like, all right, that's a white guy that got that. I want to be the black version of that. But then it's like, growing up, you want, because it's like that's a high achievement. Like, who ain't want to make $43.5 billion? He's like he was the richest man in the world.
I wouldn't.
It wasn't about a personal goal. Like, I wanted to be built. Like, he was the richest man in the world. I want to be the richest man in the world one day. That's how I just saw it. Not like,
to defend his point, like, he was always on TV, and it was like he was always thought of like, oh, he's so cool, he's so rich. Like,
everybody, there's a song called Bill Gates. Like, who didn't want to be?
No. Everybody had a Bill Gates line. Bill Gates is like ingrained in the hip hop.
Right.
Like Donald Trump too.
Donald Trump was.
He was.
For
That's a
good
fact.
reason back in the day.
But I'm gonna keep it funky. I like Bill Gates because of Windows 95, not because he was a billionaire. For real. For real. If it wasn't for Bill Gates, I wouldn't be able to work a computer.
That's a fact.
If it wasn't for Bill Gates, I wouldn't be able to make my own music. Draw that correlation.
You think that over like the people over at Apple?
I mean,
they revolutionized, like they came out with the iPod.
But that's way later though.
Yes,
I know,
and that was off the back, of an operating system.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? Of an operating system. Let's not forget how Apple started. You feel what I'm saying? Bill Gates was working with those same people and separated from them.
Oh yeah, true.
In order to do that operating system, and brought that operating system out and gave it away free for everybody, and then said, now on the next one, that's when y'all have to pay. That's how he got the bread, by giving it away for free and creating a necessity for it. Because before that, everybody else was running on DOS. My grandmother had one of them old school computers. In order just to bring up the Wheel of Fortune game she had installed on there, I had to fake write code to bring it up. It wasn't nothing I could click.
No joke.
Yeah, it wasn't nothing I could click. It wasn't an icon in front of me. That revolutionized what it was you were able to do, and how it was you were able to move forward based off of that. And so many different innovations piggybanked off of that major revolutionary innovation. You know what I'm saying? For us to be able to do what it is that we doing right now. You did?
I feel you. So, Ade, this is a perfect segue for you and your technology stuff that you want to talk about. Let's do it.
Yeah. But quick question. I mean, you killed the question already. So it's kind of like rhetorical at this point. But we had 2 posts today on our IG page about like a bunch of like people of color getting elected into Congress and stuff.
And a lot of women.
A lot of women and stuff like that.
Also, openly gay people.
Right, that too.
That was also a great thing.
Do you see that as progress, somewhat, or like?
I see it as
something to look forward to.
I see it as definitely progress to those who take value in things like that. Unfortunately, personally speaking, this is just for me, the individual. Personally, I'm not a proponent of government in any way, form, or fashion. Now, there are things that go on in government that make me almost feel a little bit as though, maybe, that it would be good if I wasn't taking such a hard line with this shit. Because if I wasn't, this is something I could enjoy. And one of those major things is when two major things, when Barack Obama took office and when he left office. You feel what I'm saying? Again, I am in no way a friend of government at all. Everything having to do with government is, I really look at it adversarial and everything, because I believe in self-government, and I believe in education in order to be in self-government, because government to me is based off of this design right here. Human beings who are out of control in the overall understandings of themselves, of their ideas, of their abilities, and their actions based off of this misunderstanding must be controlled and must be uniformly, put into check in the form of organized government. Now, that being an understood fact of the necessity of government, once you start populating government with human beings, the very people who are out of control, the very people who are ignorant, the very people who are selfish, the very people who need to be placed in check, and you actually make the biggest authoritative check on people, comprised of people, it starts to really implode in certain ways that can be outlined so very clearly as to what's going on in the climate and government right now. You know what I'm saying? And the type of damage that can be done in a worldly sense, when we're talking about a system and the applications of the things that can go on within a system like that. So it's most certainly a cancer that's going to lead to the extinction of man. Now, the fact that if you put good people in good positions, that means that it's going to retard the process, but that does not change the end destination. That's how I feel about that. So while I would congratulate those people for being able to be in those positions of power, let's not forget what that power is placed here to do, which is to police, which is to enforce, and which is to administrate to those who are subjects of it. And that's what I have a problem with, because if all men are created equal and all men, live, they are born, live, and die, I don't believe in men or women for that matter telling me what it is I should do in having a bullet for me or a jail cell for me if I'm not doing those things.
That's a fact.
So how do you feel about back in the day, like, how we have like 3/5 of each vote, and people of color are always advocating like we should go vote because back in the day we couldn't. So that's the main reason why we go vote, but then we're all voting for Democrats, and then if Democrats don't win, then it's like we're still screwed. I take a different stance when it comes to organized government and shit. I try my best to be informed in a way that the average person isn't about it and what's going on with it. So I would respond to that question in this way. I feel like I infer from the action of that question that we're talking about an issue having to do with people of color and how they're seen by a greater establishment. You know what I'm saying? So what I would have to say to that is education is paramount. And I'm talking about a different type of education. I'm talking about bringing yourself up. I'm talking about aspiring to be in a place of self-sustainability that those in our generation, those before us even, haven't necessarily gotten to, because even when they were on their way there, they were stopped. I'm talking about things like the Nation of Islam. I'm talking about things like the Black Panther Party, your organization. All these people who are uplifting themselves and uplifting those around them in order to achieve a level of sustainability that the government at that time couldn't help but see as a threat to its own. You feel what I'm saying? And this is why things like COINTELPRO happened. This is why things like the crack epidemic in the lower impoverished areas happened. These things were directly consequential of people of color lifting themselves up and educating themselves.
Black Wall Street as well.
Yes, indeed.
The Philly bombing.
Yes, you know what I'm saying? So I feel as though if we're able to elevate ourselves to a level of sustainability, a level of again self-government where we govern ourselves in respect to ourselves and in respect to our communities, we start keeping learning, we start bringing up our financial literacy. We start building our understanding of what a dollar is, and how we can use those dollars and how we can use our voting blocks. Now we're talking about something. You know what I'm saying? If you want to talk about voting, let's talk about voting blocks. Let's talk about us all organizing to come together in order to vote our interest. Let's talk about those things, because I'm somebody who don't believe in government, but I'm not telling y'all not to. You feel what I'm saying? I'm talking about y'all coming together. I'm talking about us coming together. Even if I'm not coming to you with a vote, I'm pro-black. You know what I'm saying? Y'all go vote in the voting block the way that's gonna benefit all of us. And I'll focus on making sure that our kids are educated the right way. I'll make sure that our kids aren't coming up in public school systems that aren't engaged to educate.
So you would homeschool or private school?
Yes. That's the reason why I haven't had kids. Because I haven't had the situation where I can homeschool my child. I came up in the public school system. I'm very intelligent. Everybody who knows me knows that. You feel what I'm saying? Personally, I don't like underlining it, but I'll say this to make this point. When I was in public school, I got distinguished honors every year till I want to say about the 10th grade. That's straight A's every year to the 10th grade. I have letters from the president. I have letters from President Clinton. I got I was awarded. I was one of 5 children that was awarded in Delaware, distinguished achievement in education in the 6th grade. You feel what I'm saying? I said all that to say this. All those awards and all those standardized tests that I took that I completely aced, none of that shit meant anything when I was in 11th grade and I went to high school and I had long braids and I hung out with blacks and Puerto Ricans. None of that shit mattered when it came to my guidance counselor and talking to me about college. They left me for behind. And everything that I was going through at that point, I left myself behind too, because I was very angry. I came up without a father. I was a product of a single mother and all that. So nobody taught college to me, and that's what we need to do for our kids.
And you still made it, man. That's how you doing. That album is coming out soon. Make sure y'all go get that.
Yeah,
follow Lord Belize. Let them know where they can reach you at.
I am at Eyes of Belize on IG. That is primarily. I don't really do the Twitter thing like that. You know what I'm saying? I keep it IG. I'm really not really too big on social media, but for the purposes of music and promotion, that's where I can find.
That's all they need. You know what I'm saying?
Thank y'all, brothers. Thank y'all, brothers, for the platform.
Thank
you for the great conversation.
Very intelligent, man.